I'm open to the possibility that I'm being remotely mind controlled by the Russian state intelligence structure. It's possible that this could be going on. If you view the content of my videos and examine the content, it's very possible that I am being remotely mind control manipulated by the Russian state authorities, i.e. the GRU. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, I'm not a part of the GRU's agenda. In fact, I despise the GRU. The GRU are bitches, so I have no truck with these people at all. It's all very interesting to consider how this is all playing out. Indeed, what this really is a personal vendetta between myself and Devices Police. The thing is, I've realized that Devices Police means the entire populations of the towns of Devices and Calm, but basically everybody is involved in ritual sacrifice of Russian mental patients and English homeless people. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, there's butchers' rings of butcher Freemasons slaughtering Russian mental patients and English homeless people. There's also operative in Calm by networks connected to St. Mary's Church. It's interesting, considering these people are meant to be Christians, that they're involved in satanic ritual sacrifice ceremonies and cannibalism of children stolen from various war zones. So it's all very interesting to consider the fact that Khan is very much involved with the Devices Police agenda. So it's all very interesting to analyze and really rather annoying for me as a person who despises this stuff to realize quite how many people in the towns of Devices and Khan are actually involved in this agenda. So it's all very interesting indeed. Khan police are operative in the overarching torture mechanisms of me via networks of Khan police connected to the Ferris family, who are trying their best to protect the identity of Emma Ferris from possible vigilantism. So it's all very interesting to consider the amount of smoke screens that Calm Police, Devices Police, and Warminster Police are putting up, are erecting to attempt to destroy me, basically. Indeed, I opened up a can of worms with my exposure to Devices Police. This is causing chaos. So it's all very interesting. I am a mentally ill man. I do not need the gaslighting or the gang stalking that the Freemasonic lodges, i.e. Moonraker Lodge number 8747 and Wyvern Lodge number 8620, are inflicting upon me. It's all very interesting that these lodges are still convinced I am an operative of the Russian state. However, this is not the case. I have explained many times that I am a mental patient. I am not an agent of the Russian intelligence or security services. I've explained this many times. Yet, the thing is, to protect their pedivore rings, the British Freemasons and police will construct false identities for the person who is exposing these networks. So it's all very interesting. Anyone viewing this needs to be aware that the British police fraternities, which are slightly distinct from the Freemasonic lodges, but they are interwoven, and the Freemasons will construct false identities and false biographies for anyone who takes them on. So it's all very interesting the amount of propaganda that is being placed on the internet and in the souls of people in Wiltshire about me is coming straight from British intelligence sources connected to the Devices Police ring. So it's all very interesting to consider the fact that British intelligence, i.e. neo-Nazi factions within British intelligence, as well as neo-Soviet ones, are doing everything to basically convince the public that I am some sort of opposition network to the Russian government, but still working for the Soviet agenda, which is very interesting indeed. I am not working for the Soviet agenda at all. I've explained many times that my loyalty is to mental patients and my networks of felines. That is all. These are the only people that I am loyal to. Indeed, there is an Israeli network of the Mossad, who are a neo-Nazi continuum organization operating for the remnants of the intelligence branches of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. This neo-Nazi network of Satanists connected to the Mossad, i.e. Troy Southgate's National Anarchist movement, as well as several other networks, are attempting to shut me down via recruiting networks of local felines to abuse me in the street and attempt to basically cast me as the organ trafficker, which is very interesting, considering anyone who is aware of my channel would be aware that I have exposed this network thoroughly over the course of this video diary. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Troy Southgate of the British Security Services, indeed Troy Southgate is an MI5 operative and a Freemason and a Mossad agent, interestingly, is attempting to scupper my plans to form networks of local felines by recruiting networks of local felines to basically destroy me. He's attempting to recruit Satanist felines, if there are any around here, to attempt to scupper any plans I have. Indeed, the National Anarchist movement must be exposed for what it is. Indeed, the National Anarchist movement was created by British Security Service operatives, including Troy Southgate, who was previously connected to various neo-Nazi organizations. It's interesting to consider that Troy Southgate is a Satanist and a ritual abuser of toddlers, operative for the British Security Services factions that are operated by the Cemetery Network, i.e. the network of Nazis whose headquarters is beneath the ruins of Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. So it's all very interesting indeed. These are graveyard worshippers operative for necrophilia and the rape of children. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Troy Southgate's sidekick, Adam Orn, now lives in Lithuania, where he's becoming known as a local neo-Nazi recruiter. Indeed, Adam Orms is heavily involved in the Gladio 4 project, attempting to turn Eastern Europeans into neo-Nazi Satanists. It's interesting considering the convergence of neo-Nazi Satanism with the concept of white jihad, and how this Faith of Ishmael concept plays into the overarching ideals of Bavarian Illuminism and the attempted creation of an Aryan temple structure across Europe, complete with ritual human sacrifice, cannibalism, and idol worship. So it's all very interesting to consider what the National Anarchist movement are trying to create. Indeed, Adam Orms is known as a mind control programmer in Lithuanian circles. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the British intelligence services, via networks of MI6, are attempting to basically convert the youth of Europe into a large neo-Nazi Satanist network to basically help usher in the police state in the United Kingdom and the Masonic religion as an overall exoteric as well as esoteric religion for the masses and the elites. So it's interesting to consider exactly what the National Anarchist movement are caught up in. Indeed, they are truly a horrible network operative for various factions of British intelligence that are themselves interconnected with Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst factions, including the Dietrich and Kammler factions, who have so much influence over the GRU. Indeed, I've stated before that the GRU are heavily involved with the Maniac Murder cult, despite trying to cast all of the blame on Ukrainian intelligence. Indeed, this is part of the genius of the Soviet intelligence structure. They're able to basically cast their own operations on an enemy, and the public believe it. Indeed, Ukrainian intelligence being coordinated by Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst Muller factions are heavily interconnected with the Maniac Murder cult. However, they are not solely to blame. The British police also control percentages of the Maniac Murder cult. And, as I stated, the GRU are heavily influential in the activities of the Maniac Murder cult, operating networks out of Leningrad, i.e. St. Petersburg. So, it's all very interesting to consider, indeed, what exactly do these networks hope to achieve? Indeed, the intelligence services are hoping that these neo-Nazi Satanist networks will cause so much chaos in society that the population will embrace the police state that the Illuminists are trying to erect all across Europe and the Russian Federation. So, indeed, it's all very interesting. Indeed, this conflict being caused between NATO and the Russian Federation is merely a precursor to the erection of a police state system and the implementation of the Masonic Druidic ritual religion as a state religion. So very interesting indeed. This is basically the new eon conceived by David Mayat, who is a perfect example of the synthesis of the trajectories of neo-Nazi Satanism and Faith of Ishmael jihadism. Indeed, he is a prime example of this, as is Cass Lynch of Calm, who is toying with the idea of converting to the Faith of Ishmael because he believes that's the only way to stop me. Indeed, I had a feeling that would happen. Indeed, Cass Lynch of Calm is more concerned with stopping me than anything else and will align himself with any network he can possibly imagine that would stop me from making videos. So it's interesting to consider the envy of much of the male population of Calm regarding me. And devises guys also who seriously can't handle the fact that people are curious about me. They do not like the fact that people are curious about me, or the fact that I am creating content and analyzing concepts. They cannot deal with it. It's so very interesting to consider that I am a schizophrenic caveman, basically. I operate alone and have no ties or allegiance to any intelligence services. Indeed, the British police are irradiating me via networks interconnected with the British security services. So it's interesting indeed. This is a British intelligence operation being run against me. Just as the Russian intelligence services, the SVR and GRU, are attempting to remotely mind control program me as part of some sort of Osbreniki operation. It's interesting to consider this. It's also interesting to consider the fact that I am part of a Russian targeted individual program, which puts me in a lot of danger. But it's not only the Russian intelligence and security services that are attempting to remotely mind control me. The British intelligence services are also utilizing networks of sorcerers and various druidic covens, attempting to basically put me off course so that they can cast me as a Russian agent. Indeed, so my brain is being hacked by both British and Russian intelligence services, attempting to dominate my psyche. So it's all very interesting to consider this. Indeed, the National Anarchist movement are also utilizing networks of local druids to basically control me via sorcery. So it's all very interesting to consider the amount of occult practitioners that are attempting to basically influence my brain in some way. So I'm basically being harassed, manipulated, and tortured by a large satanic agency that is basically spanning several intelligence agencies and independent networks. So it's all very interesting to consider this as a large satanic conspiracy against me. And the headquarters of this satanic conspiracy is Wiltshire Police Headquarters in Devizes. So a lot of this conspiracy is due to the dictates of Philip Wilkinson, i.e. the arch child ritual abuser, operative as the Wiltshire Police Crime Commissioner, who is attempting right now to block off Catty from my brain. Indeed, my guardian angel speaks to me in my head, and the British intelligence services know this, so they're attempting to use some sort of blockage mechanisms to stop the extrasensory perception from operating in my head. Indeed, British intelligence services are very curious about my extrasensory phenomenon. However, they will never get to utilize my powers. This is the thing. I would not work for Bavarian Illuminists, ever. This is the thing that really annoyed Troy Southgate, the fact that I would not get on board with the program and operate for the Trudovics, i.e. the Soviet labor network, who want to introduce collective farms in the United Kingdom coordinated by local oligarchs, basically, such as Troy Southgate would be positioned as a local leader in what he terms as a meritocracy that would actually be an oligarchy operated by Soviet officials, complete with secret police. Indeed, this is what the national anarchist movement is really attempting to achieve. They're working for a Trudovic faction of the SVR, as well as interconnecting with several neo-Nazi Satanist networks that are Strasserist in alignment. Indeed, it's all very interesting to consider this. So technically, Troy Southgate is not only a British MI5 operative, he is also a Freemason, a Mossad agent, and a Soviet agent. Indeed, Troy Southgate is heavily interconnected with networks of the SVR, i.e. the KGB's Foreign Directorate. So it's interesting to consider that Troy Southgate is a Soviet operative attempting to implement a system of collective farms in the United Kingdom under the banner of anarchism. And as I stated, the majority of anarchists, if not all, are coordinated by Illuminist lodges, via Freemasonic networks interconnecting with the British security services, especially here in Britain. All of the anarchist networks are coordinated by the British security services. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, I believe it's MI8 that coordinates the anarchist networks across the United Kingdom, who are themselves also interconnected with the hippie network, who are also coordinated by MI8. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the hippie networks are divided between far left Trudovics connected to the Green Party and far right Satanists connected to the one of the national anarchist movement branches coordinated by Adam Ormes. So it's interesting indeed, the hippie networks are very much under the sway of the national anarchist movement, with the Southgate faction coordinating the far left hippie Satanists and the Ormes faction coordinating the far right network of hippie Satanists. So it's all very interesting indeed. Hippies in the United Kingdom are heavily involved in the organ harvesting, organ trafficking, and distribution networks, as well as the cannibal meat trade, which I've explained in a previous video. Indeed, the majority of hippies are cannibals, operative for the police state, pretending to be anti-government when they are all operating for various branches of the intelligence community. So it's all very interesting to note. And the basic concept that the hippies are majority thelemic, i.e. they follow Crowleyan doctrines. Indeed, it's interesting to note that the member of staff working here today that I've mentioned, who I believe is a member of the Ferris family and is operating for the British police, i.e. Wiltshire police, to spy on me for the Ferrises, is an avowed Crowleyite, an operative for a network of neo-Nazi Satanist hippies operating out of Glastonbury. So it's all very interesting to note the proliferation of neo-Nazi concepts within the hippie networks that are denied by the adherents, but are actually pre-existing and continue to exist in hippie continuum thought. It's all very interesting that Troy Southgate's networks have severely tapped into the hippie population of the United Kingdom, interconnecting with Palestine Action and the promotion of Pan-Arabism, which is all basically a concept that is being used to distract from the erection of a police state in the United Kingdom, as part of an overall agenda by the Nazi networks to coordinate a mass ritual sacrifice of mental patients, homeless, and Hebrew commoners, a sacrifice that they believe will achieve their ambitions, and the erection of the Aryan Temple priesthood network, and the ultimate creation of the British police state. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there now.